What is up, everybody? We are back outside the cage. It's your co-host Jalen with my boy Eric. How we doing today?
Doing great, man. It's a beautiful Monday. Going to the reggae concert later tonight. Got a little sunburn this weekend. Got a terrible tan line on my head from wearing a hat and having long hair, but it'd be like that. I don't know if I'm a peel or tan yet. We shall see. But great weekend of fights as well, dude. I was tuned in for all of Saturday night, pretty much. Stayed home, watched them, enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
What did we?
Great night of fights. We had Corey Sandhagen defeat Rob Font 50-45 in just an absolute clinic. A lot of people claim boring. I don't. You know me. You know what my stance is on that is. He fought a top 10 guy on short notice, dominated him for 5 rounds, won 50-45 on every single card. Look at that there, total domination. So you can call boring all you want. I call it a masterclass. I thought it was just a beautiful, beautiful performance from start to finish. Why take any risk if you don't have to? If you can go into a fight and only take 25 punches to your face or to your body, whatever, sign me up and I can win. Cool. I do I guess it's kind of hypocritical here. It wasn't enough to earn a title shot, which I guess is kind of going back on everything that I just said. Corey did tear his tricep. He said to be out 6 months, so that's kind of out. But before we get any further, what did you think about his performance, and where does that put him as far as title shots lie?
Yeah, dude. So in the moment, I can't lie. I also had some buddies at my house. I was hyping up Sandhagen a lot, talking about how exciting this fight was going to be. Just like two nasty strikers. I said Sandhagen will use the wrestling a little bit to tire him out, just to get some points on the board. I don't know, I guess you could say that. And then he just went full Dagestani on him. And it turns out he did, like you said, tore the tricep in the first round. But that is so impressive from Sandhagen. When he first came into the UFC, he was basically just a striker. And now his ground game's almost as useful as his stand-up, maybe even more in some cases, like this one. It really makes me wish that Umar Nurmagomedov wouldn't have pulled out, because it would have been pretty sick to get to see Sandhagen's wrestling tested against a better ground guy, per se. But, I mean, these numbers are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
19 minutes of control time in a 25-minute fight, 132 strikes compared to 25 for Font. And he did it with a torn tricep. These guys are just different than any other athletes in the world. In any other sport, I feel like when someone has a torn tricep, most of the time they're probably coming out of the game. Or at least, getting it checked out and stuff.
You would at least know that he has a torn tricep. We didn't even know till after the fight.
Yep. Gosh, man, it just makes me love this sport. Even in a moment where the fight might have not been super entertaining, looking back at it, seeing Sandhagen do that with a torn tricep, I've already said that 10 times, but gosh, just impressive. Hats off.
So you know what we got to ask? We have our man, Chickashawn O'Malley, going for the 135 belt against Aljamain Sterling August 19th in Boston. I guess the question is, obviously that's the title fight. Who's the next guy at 135? Aljo has stated he wants to go up, win or lose. That throws a wrench kind of in it. Again, Umar was there. He was hurt. You kind of imagine that Umar and Corey was going to be the title eliminator. Corey injury throws a wrench in that as well. So what's the next title eliminator, or who's the next guy that gets the shot at 35?
Man, I don't know right now, just with the way the division is, with Merab being hurt. I'm not sure when he'll be back. Is it probably about half a year now?
Yeah.
So I guess Merab would technically probably be ready, and he's done more than enough to earn it. He's beaten everyone that he's had to. I don't really think anyone. Yeah, I kind of think Merab probably. If Corey went out there and had a explosive win, even though this was really impressive to hardcore MMA fans, a lot of casuals are probably not loving Corey Sandhagen right now, and they probably don't even know that he has a torn or know that he was fighting hurt. So, yeah, I think Merab will probably get it. And since Aljo won't be there, that won't be in the way anymore. The only thing is that Dana wasn't happy with the fact that he wouldn't fight Aljo.
Yeah.
So maybe Dana will be trying to stick it to him a little bit and won't hand him that title shot right off the rip.
Yeah, I think in that case, again, it's hard to say because I think there's so many scenarios here. I think that if Aljo wins, so this came to me last night. If Aljo wins and he relinquishes that belt and goes to 45, if he leaves 35 as the champ, his next fight at 45 is going to be for the title, 90% sure, right?
Yeah.
Do you relinquish that title and then you don't really get to claim double champ status? So I think if he wins, he keeps the belt, fights at 45. Maybe they do an interim at 35. And so then he can be considered double champ. I don't think he fights again at 35, win or lose. I just think that, for the double champ purposes, that's a rare category. So you want to be in that. And then at that case, you have to look at how does the fight with Sean O'Malley go? If Aljo does win, but it's close, do you do Suga and Merab? Does Suga get another title shot right away? You also have to look at Henry Cejudo. He fought Aljo really close, probably 3 rounds to 2. So I look at that. I think the money fight there is definitely a Suga versus Henry. Any way that could happen, that's definitely a fight that the UFC's wanted for a long time. I feel like both those guys want that. I have no problem with Henry getting the next title shot because I think he fought Aljo really well, and I think he's a big name at 35, and I have no problem with that at all. I guess the best scenario would be a Suga win and then a Henry and Merab title eliminator. Or just other way around, Aljo wins, relinquishes the belt. Then you have 3 guys there. And then maybe, I don't know. Then at that point, do you just do Suga and Henry and then you let Merab fight the winner? I don't know. There's different scenarios there, but it's definitely one of those 3 guys that I think get the next title shot. I think Suga's, I don't know. I mean, can you say he's done enough to get another immediate title shot?
Probably.
He beat Peter Yan, great. It all depends on how he does against Aljo.
Yep.
Yes, Suga got in a not tough spot, but from the outside looking in, it kind of looked like he got fast-tracked because he came up so quick, but he beat the number 1 guy at 35, so he wasn't really fast-tracked. He did his job. But yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a lot just has to play out. I don't think there's no set in stone. And then you've got Umar, so then it's what does Umar do? I still think Umar, you don't get a title shot after supposed to fight for a title eliminator, backing out. Again, he was hurt. Yes, no disrespect to him, he was hurt, but you don't come back and get a title shot right away after that. So I think it's one of those 3 guys. Merab, depending on what Merab does, and like you said, I don't know how Dana's feelings are towards Merab. So maybe you do a Merab versus Henry, and then in the best scenario is Suga wins, and then they do Henry and Suga or Henry and Merab for the title. Yeah. That's the dream scenario.
Do you think say Chito Vera gets a very highlight reel knockout on 292, calls out the winner of the main event that night, or Suga if he wins, I guess. Does he throw himself back into the mix just because of the history that he has with Suga? I think a lot of people would love to see that one as well.
But okay, this yes, I understand from our perspective, but from the casual fan, what's the history?
Yeah, that's
we
true.
We know that. They don't know about a random fight night and fucking COVID that started their history. They don't know that.
They could build that up, though. The UFC is good at that.
Yeah, but I still for sure think that a Cejudo versus Suga does a lot better. But man, I just thought to myself too, if Suga does somehow, some way find a way to shock the world and beat Aljamain Sterling, then he fucking gets another wrestler. Fuck. You can't just keep beating these wrestlers like that, bro. That's tough.
I know. That's right. Chito would be ideal. Yeah. Imagine Chito. My prediction has been for a while, Chito Suga, Coach Tough. Yeah. So I don't know if the timing would line up for that, to where that would be able to work for the next fight, or maybe Suga defends against Henry, beats him, and then Coach is tough against Chito. But yeah, Chito did get exposed pretty badly by Corey as well. Corey made him look not like a championship contender in there. So it would be kind of tough to just throw him back above all those guys.
Corey's the guy before Cheeto. And I kind of want to say Corey's the guy before Henry. I mean, I was super impressed with Henry's performance, but Henry for sure needs another guy, and I think it's gonna be Marab. That's the fight.
Yeah.
I think that fight was originally booked, right? Or it was just rumored.
Yeah, I think it was like almost confirmed.
Or no, wasn't it Henry and Cheeto?
It was Henry Cheeto that was supposed to be on this, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were setting up the Cheeto versus Sugar just in case. So, that was there for Cheeto. Now, obviously, a win versus Prelim Pedro doesn't do that anymore. But yeah, it's tough. This is why we love that 35 division. There's so many ways you can spin it, so many different possibilities, and that's the best part. We get to find it all out.
The injuries have kind of made it tough too, just because we don't know when people are going to be coming back.
And been off. You look at it, and Sugar hasn't fought in almost a year, and he's a star, so it's just tough.
I hate that, dude. Sugar says it all the time. He does not want to only fight once a year in his prime years. He wants to be fighting 2-3 times a year. He's 28 years old right now. It's time to start carving out that Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
It's time for him to, dude, oh my goodness. It's hard not to look ahead to that fight. I've already been getting chills. I've already had $100 wagers placed with some of my friends that don't believe. Easton.
Don't bet no money straight up. You bet.
I know. Get the
online. You get plus money. Stop taking those sucker bets. That's not good. That's not good.
It's about taking money from my friend.
Yeah, it doesn't. Then tell them to give you the odds. At least give you like minus 150, minus 200.
Yeah. I'll try and step back up to the renegotiation table. It was on the phone, so we never shook.
Speaking of title implications and title fights, Tatiana Suarez defeats Jessica Andrade round 2 via guillotine choke. She improves to 11-0. Again, just kind of how we talked about last fight. Dominant performance, finish from the beginning, back-to-back losses for Andrade. Big win for Tatiana Suarez. She puts herself now in the top 5. I guess the question, plain and simple, that we ask every weekend is how many fights away is Tatiana Suarez from a title shot?
Can't be more than one, right?
For sure, one more, yep.
I think so. She's ranked 10 right now, but she's one of the better known people in that division. She'll probably be ranked at least 5 after this. Dude, I don't get how Andrade is ranked.
Sure be 5.
How is Andrade ranked 5 after losing to Blanchfield, Yan Xiaonan? Or those were her back-to-back losses before this fight, right?
Yeah.
She's still ranked 5? Gosh, dude. We need to get some more women up there in the division.
Oh, we have Zhang Weili defending her title against Amanda Lemos on the same card as Sugar Sean O'Malley, August 19th. I think the fight to make, plain and simple, again, Tatiana beats Jessica Andrade, moves herself into the top 5. Lemos is 4. I think the fight right there to make is, assuming Carla and Rose are just whatever they're doing, playing patty cake, retiring. The fight to make is Yan Xiaonan versus Tatiana Suarez.
Yeah, dude, that would be cool too because Yan's a really good striker. Tatiana is a really good grappler. Bro, it was so impressive the first time that Tatiana got Andrade down. It didn't end up in a submission or anything like that, but she like barely got a hold of one of Andrade's ankles at a not good position, and she still was able to get her to the ground and end up on top. So
what if I told you that Tatiana Suarez has wins over Alexa Grasso and Carla Esparza?
Yeah, wasn't she like knocking on the door before she was out for a while?
Yeah, she was out for 4 years.
Yeah, I've honestly got to admit I didn't know that she had wins over them, but that's nasty. I remember I heard Strickland saying she's like the only girl he's seen that's actually decent, so she should be able to whoop all of them. That's Strickland's words, not mine, but
sounds about right.
Yeah. Man, dude. Speaking of Strickland, we'll get to him later in the show, but yeah, I like that. Tatiana versus Yan Xiaonan. I honestly like Xiaonan's style a lot more, and I would much rather see her fighting in championship fights than I would Tatiana.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. I think Yan's pretty electric. I think she could actually bring some eyes to the division. But yeah, we shall see.
Great card, top to bottom. Color Upple standouts. Dustin Jacoby knocks out Kennedy. Nzouku, big time win there from Dustin Jacoby. ruined my parlay, but it's all good. Yeah, you know me. I both these two guys I really liked in the light heavyweight division, especially with a division that doesn't have any like set in stone champion or set in stone top 5. So I've always been big on these two guys. Dustin Jacoby, kickboxing background. Kennedy, just 6'5", big, athletic. I always tend to like those guys. Yeah, I mean, just obviously shocking, but not surprised. Great fight.
Dude, I mean, it was honestly just kind of who had the better chin, because Kennedy caught Jacoby really well and then just kind of forgot about his defense after he clipped him with a perfect right hand. And then Jacoby comes back and just hits him with an even more perfect right hand, knocks him out. So that was impressive. I think I heard Anik say that Jacoby had D1 offers in football and basketball. So dude's athletic. Like we've said, this is kind of that new era.
Alex Pereira in kickboxing.
He did?
Yeah.
How'd it go? Not very well, or?
Nah.
That happens to a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
Cedric Doumbé, that other kickboxer, the PFL guy, he got a he's booked against some undefeated MMA prospect in Paris, I think. So I'll be tuning into that when that gets closer for sure.
That's good. Diego Lopes, bet money on him. Masterclass performance from Diego Lopes. Great performance. Tanner Bozer wins, unanimous decision. Klein, unanimous decision. Kyler Phillips, he was in my parlay, unanimous decision. Carlston Harris, great submission win. Billy Q beat Damon Jackson, great fight there. Cody Durden, underdog, defeats Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley said he had trouble making weight, almost died, said he saw God. Sean Woodson defeats Dennis Bazooka, unanimous decision. Azu Alabayev submits Ode Osborne. Started off the day well. I had a plus money bet on for him to win by submission. Started off hot. You know how that goes. I gotta start like being better, either just stopping when I'm up or just really locking in later cards, because I think I always start well. And
you go nuclear in the early prelims every time.
I always fucking trick it off. I got to get back on track for a full card, finish the full card up. But yeah, great card. Great to see the fans in Nashville. They were there early. Great city of fights. So love the card.
Bro, me too. They had a couple stats on the gate and stuff like that. The live gate generated $2.1 million. And that just, oh man, every time I see that, I'm like, why are we doing any events in the Apex?
Yeah.
Even if it's not a super elite card, you could still fill up a 5,000 seat arena at the bare minimum.
Bro, like, in worst case, just go to Vegas and go to a casino.
Yeah. Like,
that's what I'm be thinking.
I think there's enough diehard fight fans in Vegas to fill up an arena every weekend. If the tickets weren't crazy priced for fight nights, there's people that would go every weekend, just like people go to baseball games or whatever.
Did you watch the beginning of the card, like from the beginning?
Honestly, no. I was kind of in and out on it.
John Anik almost died. He was like choking on some shit when the show started.
Seriously?
Yes. I was like, bro, it came on. I was like, who the fuck is this? And then it was like, sounded like he was like choking, and I was like, oh shit. And then it was like him, and he's like, sorry for that in the beginning. Right, almost died.
Whoa, dang! I wish I had that as our WTF of the week.
Yeah, another great weekend of fights. To top it off, we had Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz in the boxing ring in Texas. Jake wins by decision, 10 rounds. Probably won about 7 of them, I would say. I don't know how to.
Yeah, I'd agree. I remember Nate winning round 4 for sure.
Yeah.
Round 8 for sure, and then it looks like maybe round 7 as well. But yeah, Paul outlanded him, outthrew him. Yeah, dude, Nate, every round I feel like Paul would be going hard for the first minute. He'd have Nate up on the ropes, have him in some trouble. And then Jake would start to get kind of tired, and Nate would come on, start to put it on him. And I was thinking, I wonder if since Nate's been fighting 5-minute rounds his whole career, that was kind of the pace that he was used to going at, because he's used to having another 2 minutes.
They said that Originally it was 8, and then Nate's camp wanted 10 rounds.
Yeah, I just mean like if the rounds were longer, because
Yeah.
Jake would recover between every round and then he'd be good enough to go. But if there was, say, it was 5-minute rounds like MMA,
Yeah.
I think Nate would have Jake in hell for those last couple minutes.
I
So
mean, I don't know. You know my feelings on it, so I just
yeah. So
I, so what do you think's next for I have next for both guys. I like Jake, bro. I think Jake's really good. Like I think it's unfair to like from the people that I talked to and the people that like were like interested in the fight, like all I heard was like, "Oh, Nate's gonna win. Nate's gonna win. Like Jake's not a real fighter. Nate would beat him up on the street. They have gloves on. Like, all right, cool, fine, whatever." Jake wins, and then it's like Jake should be embarrassed. He should knock him out. Nate doesn't even box, and it's the same way every time with Nate Diaz, bro. It's the same way every time. He rocked Leon. If it was in the street, he would have won. We're not in the fucking street, bro. Like we're not in the street. Like it's every time with Nate Diaz, there's an excuse for a guy who claims to be, and it's not just Nate. It's not coming from Nate, but like from a guy whose fans claim that he's so tough and he's so this. Then why is there always an excuse when he loses? That's my only ever issue with that shit is like he's claiming before the fight, oh, I'm a boxer. I've boxed since I was 15. I've boxed the world champs. I've done this. I've done that. So then when you lose, what is it? Now you're not a boxer and now it's not a real fight. So it's like you can't pick and choose. And that's every time with Nate Diaz, bro. That's why I hate when he fights because it's just like it's lose-lose. It's lose-lose. If he loses, oh, he'd beat him in the street. Okay, so then why do we even fight? Like, why do we even fight?
you make some solid points there. I got caught up in the fight itself. I honestly enjoyed it.
That was a good fight.
Yeah. Nate, gosh, dude, he's just looked very old and slow. Literally the first punch that Jake threw, I think it was just a jab to the body, and Nate reacted about a second late when he covered up, and I was like, oh, geez, this is going to be a long night for old Nathan. But luckily, I think Nate didn't really slow down at all. The whole entire fight, he kind of stayed that same speed the whole time. When Jake kind of slowed down, got a little closer to him.
He dropped him.
Yeah, dude, Jake dropped him good. I thought he was gonna roll out of the ring from the angle that the camera was at. It looked like he was going under. I was like, no.
But like my thing is like, if you're gonna claim that Nate would kill him in a street fight, then why can't he beat him in boxing?
Yeah, I mean boxing.
If that's the case, then just admit that Jake's a better boxer, but they don't do that. That's what I'm saying. If they would yeah, bro, come the same. Like, yes, obviously Nate would beat him in the UFC. Nate would beat him in MMA. But then just say Jake's a better boxer, but they won't even say that. Like they just won't admit he's a better boxer. So it's just like, what's the point of arguing about it?
Yeah, dude, Jake's been boxing twice a day, every day for at least 3 or 4 years now. So it's not, and he's big and athletic. And I honestly don't like his antics. I respect what he does because he's made a bunch of money and gotten a bunch of eyes on himself. But I don't know, dude. In the build up for this one, he was just saying a lot of gay stuff that I was really messing with, honestly. He was like, I'm going to ride you like a cowboy, and saying all this really just like weird stuff. And I don't know. He's probably just trying to get under Nate's skin a little bit.
So what do you like? What do you like next for Jake? Does he continue UFC guys? I mean, it'd be interesting for me it's always interesting to me to see who he picks next. I feel like there's always a guy that we know. Maybe he runs it back with Tyson Fury. I mean, what's his name? Tommy Fury. But yeah. What do you like next for Jake?
I don't know. I mean, I think his end goal is still Conor McGregor. 100%. That's the one that he wants at the end of it all. And I don't think that's going to be his next fight because it looks like Conor's going to fight in the UFC again. As of now, it changes every week. But right now, I'm holding out hope that he will. So I don't know, dude. Jake does an elite job of picking opponents. Because I was saying, if he say he boxes a Dustin Poirier or a Jack Della Maddalena, he's probably going to be in hell.
Yeah.
But he doesn't pick those guys. He picks guys that are either...
Why would I when I can make the same money?
Exactly. So I haven't thought about it too much. Who's the guy that has that big enough name but isn't enough of a threat or is old enough? Maybe...
What about a Masvidal?
I think Masvidal is too good still. I don't think Jake
really?
would. Yeah. Masvidal is just like, he's not a boxer, but that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's the hand speed, just the tricks and stuff like that. And you saw what he did to Nate.
I like Masvidal for him.
Dude,
I personally like Conor for both these guys, whether if it's in the boxing ring or in the UFC. Obviously, Jake's in the PFL. I don't think Nate goes anywhere other than the UFC to do MMA. Even like in his interviews now, he's been like really appreciative and real grateful looking back at it and his time in the UFC. So I don't think he does the PFL with Jake Paul. I don't see that happening. So yeah, I don't know what Jake does as far as MMA wise, but I think Nate goes back to the UFC, but I feel like it's only for a Conor type fight. And I'm honestly just done with the bullshit of Conor, bro. So like, let's just run Nate and Conor and let's just fight. Like, whenever it is, put them in a date and let's fight. But like, I don't kind of just because like I don't want to see Conor. I do want to see Conor fight these guys, but he's never going to. I just feel like, or I can never believe it. So it's like, let's just run a Conor versus Nate 3 and let's just call it what it is. It was always them. So let's run it.
Settle the trilogy.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I'm just over like, it's going to be Gaethje. It's going to be this dude. It's going to be this dude. Like
Charles. Yeah. And I guarantee that Nate, like you said, gained a lot of appreciation because he's had to co-promote this event, and he probably realizes how hard it is and all the little things that you don't even think about when you're not running the thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Nate comes back either. I'm sure the UFC would welcome him with open arms because if it makes dollars, it makes sense for them.
I do love Jake. I do love Jake and Conor, though. That's my matchup, and I think it's a great fight for Jake. I think he can give Conor a test, and I mean, I would favor Conor. I feel like that line would be close, but I think Jake keeps proving that he's a good boxer. Like I don't know. I feel like Jake could win that, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I was thinking if Jake, or one of my friends texted me this, and I was kind of thinking this would be hilarious. It's not going to happen, obviously, but a Jake versus Strickland boxing match, because they're about the same size, and Strickland would probably have him in hell in the press conference.
Yeah. But, well, he just wouldn't really want to do much press conference, so it's just be like, it's whatever.
That's like, I feel like Jake Paul is everything that Sean Strickland talks bad about, though. It would just be so funny.
Yeah.
Like Strickland hates TikTok and all that stuff.
Speaking of Sean Strickland, he just signed his death note. He allegedly rumored to be booked Izzy versus Sean Strickland in Australia for the middleweight title of the world. We had to move quick after Driscus Dupussy backed out and said he was hurt and didn't want to fight. After Eric came on this air and said that he was going to beat Izzy, the next day he backed out, let Eric down. But we have the fight. Sean Strickland stepped up. This is the fight that we've been wanting for a couple years. It was supposed to be the fight if Sean had beat Pereira International Fight Week last year, 2 years ago. So this is the one. We get it booked finally. I don't know if it's what the UFC wanted, but it's what Izzy wanted. Great matchup for Izzy. Striking kickboxing match. You know who wins those. So I'm excited. We get to see my guy fight. Superstar, box office, my favorite fighter in the world. Let's go, baby.
This one's going to do a lot of pay-per-view buys too. I'm calling it. Strickland I think he'll be a pay-per-view gem once there's a lot of media done on him and everyone gets to see how loose his screws really are. I think it's going to be an elite build-up. I'm almost more excited for the build-up than I am the fight itself because I could already tell you how the fight's going to go. It's just going to be an Adesanya masterclass, which is really fun to watch, to be fair. But yeah, dude, let's get it. September. Have we heard anything else for that card yet?
We got Carlos Olbergana. We got Kaikara France, Manakape. We got Blood Diamond making his return. Tyson Pedro is on the card. Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. Justin Tafa's on the card versus Austin Lane. Jamie Malarkey. There is talks about JDM. Then there was talks no. So I don't know. Hopefully JDM gets on there. Nice little co-main, but either way, Izzy sells. He's box office. He's on the UFC Mount Rushmore as far as ticket sales goes, in my opinion. So we're good either way.
We also got our guy, Matt the Viper Vale. He scheduled 2 fights back to back. He won the first one. It was a kickboxing match against a CKB guy. Now he's fighting the second best welterweight in Australia. I think it's the day after the UFC event there. So he'll be on perfect timing. He's going to be cutting weight at the same time. So if one of those welterweights drop out, I'm sure that he will be the first call for that since he'll be ready. So I think there's a chance the Viper gets on this too. You might have not heard it here first, but you heard it here. Viper for UFC. Worst case scenario, he goes out there, smokes the other best welterweight in Australia. UFC is going to be there, so hopefully they're watching. And then he gets that contract. Let's go.
Yes, sir. We're back in the Apex this week. Vicente Luque versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Close fight. About to pick them according to Vegas. You said earlier, a little great card top to bottom. We got Cub Swanson coming on, Khalil Roundtree versus Chris Dawkins. We got Jamie Pickett on the card. We got Francis the Firefighter on the card. We got Blackshear versus Brady Heinstand, tough alum, and your girl Juliana Miller. What a card! What a card for you, brother.
Dude, I know. It's like kind of like Christmas in August for a fight night. This many of my favorite fighters on it. Bro, Luana looks kind of bad too in the picture that I have up here. If you're watching on YouTube, bottom right, switched over from the killer.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know if it's filters or something or the angle.
That's your matchup right there, bro. That you like both those girls.
I rescinded my take on Killer Miller.
Oh yeah, my fault.
I was TMSing at that point.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yep. Dude, I feel like Sugar hasn't been raising awareness about that as much. Maybe once he gets back on the big platform for the pay-per-view press conference, he'll start doing it more.
Yeah,
I would hope so because it's a real serious issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marcus McGee also he trains with Sugar. He got that short notice fight.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
And I've got to say, this is a must win for Terrence McKinney. It seems like he's fighting. It's a really quick turnaround. He had that first round submission loss, right? In his last fight. It felt like that was only a month or two ago. And now he's fighting Mike Breeden. So he lost his fight on the Contender Series. And then he must have gotten in on short notice in the UFC. He lost that one. He lost his next fight. And now he's fighting Terrence McKinney. So I don't know if this is a must win or a can't lose for Terrence, but I think if he wants to stay, I wouldn't even say he's relevant as a contender or like a ranked guy anymore in the lightweight division, but he's still really young. I think he's got to win this one, though, or else he's going to be on the bubble of having to find another home for a little bit in terms of promotions. I hope he wins. He's a minus 275 favorite. He should win. Also, my guy Cub Swanson. He's old. He's 39. That's old in the featherweight division, too. He's fighting Hakeem Dawodu, who's a very solid featherweight. They are both coming off of losses. Swanson had that terrible loss where he kept getting leg kicked against Jonathan Martinez. He just couldn't even stand on him anymore.
Yeah.
I think Swanson's going to go for it here. He's going to be in that killer be killed mentality. He wants to go out on top. He's going to leave it all out there. But Dawodu's never been knocked out. So he fights really safely. He's been using his wrestling a lot more. Lots of decisions for him, which kind of makes my head says Dawodu by decision, but my heart says Swanson by knockout, elite retirement, goes out on top. But we all know that does not happen very often in this sport. Robbie Lawler made it happen.
Shouts Robbie.
Hopefully Cub can as well. I saw the UFC roster watch tweeted Robbie Lawler removed from the roster. I heard that would be another cool one for Jake.
Nah.
Too old?
It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be, yes, Jake can sell, but it's got to be guys that sell on both ends. Like, Robbie Lawler's not going to give him much entertainment in the press conferences.
Yeah, Robbie never talks at all, I guess. So
the move is Connor, bro. Like, that's the move. I like a Connor or a Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, I
could definitely see a Jorge Masvidal, bro.
I could see that too. If Jake accepts it, Masvidal's big. He's probably about Jake's size. A little smaller, maybe. Do you have a play for us this weekend on the main event, Vicente Luque versus RDA? RDA trying to make a run up at welterweight now, going back and forth as he does. He's only lost to top contenders his whole career pretty much. He's fought the who's who forever. Vicente Luque is coming off of consecutive losses to Jeff Neal and Bilal Muhammad. So
all good losses. It's
Yeah.
tough. This one's close. Really a coin toss. I guess. I don't know. Give me the guy that's coming off a win as opposed to the guy that's coming off 2 losses, but they're really good 2 losses. So I don't know. This one's literally a coin flip as far as obviously that's what Vegas thinks as well. That's what I think. So I don't know. It's tough. Really tough one. I mean, I kind of want to look at Luque because he's younger, but RDA is RDA. And it's just, I don't know. Tough.
Yeah. RDA is just so skilled and experienced in there. I feel like Luque will probably have a slight speed and strength advantage just because of the age, and he is a little bit bigger naturally.
Yeah.
But I like RDA by decision. That's my play for this week. It's I just think he's not going to be able to finish him unless he gets a submission or something, which is possible. But I think he just outclasses him. I don't know if it'll be a master class to say. It'll be close, I think, but I think RDA will get it done.
Okay, I like it. Let's rock with RDA.
Let's go. And did you have any other plays right now? I know a lot of the things that we like the round totals and the props aren't out yet, so it kind of has our hands tied behind our backs a little bit here. But did you have anything that just popped out to you? Any money line dogs or just secure bets?
I do like I like Francis Marshall minus 155. I like Hakeem, probably put him in a parlay or to win by knockout. I might throw a stab at Jamie Pickett plus 250. Waiting for that Blackshear and Brady high stand odds to come out. I kind of like Blackshear there if I can get a good price.
I think that fight I think it might have got canceled for
really?
high stand staph infection.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, I was looking on Tapology right before
Damn,
this.
you just can update your shit. But other than that, sorry to go against your girl. I kind of like Luana Santos minus 140 over Juliana Miller. But I'll have the official plays out this week. As always, when I get some better line movement, see the movement, see where it's going, see some totals, get you some good picks out there.
Yeah. And, dude, I've just got to say, I know I already said I'm excited for Sugar Sean, but we've been waiting for this moment ever since we started this podcast.
I didn't think it would ever happen, bro, honestly.
After the Tito thing.
There's no way he'll fight. There's no way he'll fight for a title.
It's crazy how he's been such a big underdog, and this is his second fight in a row being a huge underdog. I just feel some Connor Aldo type stuff in the air.
I like it.
I'm ready. Coming.
I'm ready. We're here for it. We're gonna see it. I'm ready, baby. Got all the shirts hung up. A whole week I'm wearing nothing but Sugar merch. Day of the fight, nothing but Sugar merch. Got the hats coming in. I got the wig here. We're gonna rock. Let's grow, baby. Let's go.
I'm coming up to the 661 for it too. Managed to get my hands on a Zach Bryan ticket for the next day, so
hello.
I might not even go if Sugar loses.
Yeah, facts. I feel you. I feel you. Well, that's all we got for you today, folks. Again, as always, it's an honor, brother, to be here with you. We will see y'all next week. Enjoy the fights. Have a happy dad for me. I got the new banana flavor. This ain't banana, but I had the new banana flavor. Banana flavor.
Did it live up to the hype?
Yeah, bro. You know me. Everyone always says I always say that the newest flavor is the best flavor. So I guess I can't give an honest opinion no more because no one takes my opinions. But it's
company man.
Yeah. It's all good.
Sugar's a part owner, so
yeah,
I gotta support him as well.
Exactly.
All right, then. Till next week. Deuces, my brother.